It is impossible for the universe to make mistakes, and at this very now, the entire order of the universe is rearranging itself in accordance with what is about to take place with you. The biggest karmic switch has just been thrown, and not just your family is about to see what occurs when divine justice comes collecting. The entire freaking planet is about to witness what's going to happen. When you sense a tremor in the ground, it is because the system, which includes both the spiritual and legal systems, is shifting beneath your feet, like tectonic plates. Someone believed that they were cunning. Someone believed that they had hidden your birthright so deeply that not even God could locate it. At this very moment, as you are reading these words, a tempest of revelations is starting to gather momentum. The truth about what was taken from you is speeding into the light, like a police chase at midnight, with sirens blaring and helicopters surrounding, leaving no room to hide. At this point, there is no place to hide. You have been patient, perhaps overly patient, as you have watched from the shadows as they paraded around with your legacy, your inheritance, and your property. The things that have had your name written all over them since the beginning of time. To be patient, however, is not a sign of weakness. It was simply the universe. Due to the fact that judgment has been called, the cosmos was preparing the ideal trap and setting it. The verdict has been rendered, and there is no opportunity for appeal in the case of cosmic justice. The gavel has been dropped. The planets have come together to form a cosmic firing squad, and their intent is to eliminate each and every individual who has conspired to prevent you from achieving your destiny. Mercury's retrograde motion is trivial compared to what is about to befall them at this moment. Not only are their stars not aligned properly, but they are also falling apart. If you have poisonous connections, they are ready to learn their lessons the easy way. Some individuals learn their lessons quite easily. Considering that the entire world is watching, the universe does more than merely teach. It also sets an example. At this very moment, the cosmic instructor has picked your circumstance to serve as the lesson for humanity today regarding what happens when you meddle with destinies that were laid out for you before you were ever born. You were the recipient of certain gifts, opportunities, and fortune that were specifically designated for you because the stars aligned in such a way that they brought them to you. Your name had already been inscribed on resources that will not only provide for your own survival, but also for the survival of forthcoming generations. You were the intended recipient of something, but someone else spotted it and thought it would look better in their hands. They faked signatures, either literally or figuratively, in order to redirect your flow of information. They erected dams in order to halt the flow of your abundant river. Documentation, falsehoods, manipulations, and an entire system of deception were all built by them in order to maintain what was rightly yours at their disposal. Would they have truly believed that it would work indefinitely? They delayed, they obstructed, they rewrote reality in their own image, and they induced others to join with them in this robbery. The forces that were at play made every effort to accomplish their goals effectively. In some instances, they even managed to persuade you that perhaps you were insane for believing that anything was intended for you. It is still the case that you were selected for this prosperity, as stated in the initial decree. There is currently a restitution of the stolen property along with interest. With the intention of conveying a message, the cosmos does not simply return what was taken. Rather, it doubles, compounds, and amplifies the original amount. Karma is not merely a force that maintains equilibrium. Rather, it is that of a repo team that is now coming to collect what was always yours and adding punitive damages for the period that you spent without it. At this very moment, the same individuals who have been subsisting off of your resources are pleading for exemptions. In the middle of the night, they are trying to relocate assets and they are burning documents in backyard fire pits. They are calling attorneys at 2 o'clock in the morning. The seizure order, however, has already been signed by powers that they are unable to bribe, control, or flee from. It is too late to alter the order. The universal tax collectors have concluded that they have been evading their karmic payments for a significantly longer period of time than they should have been. The Cosmic Bank has just called in all of their loans at the same time. The spiritual auditors have just marked every transaction. The consequences are just out of this world. Every single dollar that they spent that ought to have been yours is being counted. Every single opportunity that they stole is being computed. And every single door that they shut in your face is being knocked down by the powers of the universe. The ledger not only displays what they took, but it also displays how much that taking has cost you over the course of time. And the price for that is due right now. Never for a moment entertain the notion that this was not calculated. During the time that you were sleeping, they were plotting. During the time that you were trusting, they were plotting. And during the time that you were constructing, they were challenging. In other words, this was not a coincidence or a misunderstanding. Rather, it was a well-planned effort to prevent you from achieving your goals. They believed that they were the best of the best. While they were feeding you lies, they exchanged knowing glances at family gatherings. They had midnight meetings to discuss ways to keep you in the dark. And they planned backup plans for their backup plans. They believed they were so cunning that they would never be discovered. However, what happens to plans that are constructed on shifting sand? The collapse occurs. When the truth is given a louder voice, what exactly happens to lies? They collapse into pieces. You didn't stumble here by accident. You were led. If something in your spirit is stirring, don't ignore it. Tap Join to access exclusive content, prophetic insights, and a community of purpose-driven souls. This isn't just a membership, it's your moment of alignment. Step into who you were born to be. Welcome to the Chosen. What had been concealed comes to the forefront now. One by one, the story points that they meticulously planned are being revealed, with each new revelation being more destructive than the one that came before it. They are going to be confronted with more than simply loss. The whispers that have been heard in the shadows are about to become screams in the public square. Their darkest secrets are about to become headline news, despite the fact that they are heading in the direction of financial catastrophe. However, it is not just exposure that will be coming their way. It is the public humiliation that will break them. The pointed fingers, the surprised expressions, the text messages asking, "Did you see what they did?" The awareness that these individuals are not who they profess to be is on the horizon for the entire community. They had just exhausted their lengthy game. On the verge of colliding with a hurricane is the neatly constructed house of cards. The same members of the family that grinned in your face while concealing blades behind their backs are about to have their masks removed in the most public manner that is conceivable. The very same relatives that made fun of your aspirations while taking your realities are about to become the subject of the practical prank. Despite the fact that your birthright will flash through their memories as they realize that this is the final time they will ever be recognized as the family monarch. They will remember every holiday gathering in which they sat at the head of the table while you were demoted to the children's section. Every blessing that they claimed to have received as a result of luck or favor, but turned out to have been taken from your cosmic account, is currently being taken away from them. This veneer was the foundation around which their entire identity was constructed. Who are they if they do not have your resources supporting them, without your blessing, and so that they appear to have been chosen without your inheritance? What they are about to learn is that there is nothing to be concerned about, not whether you are selected, but rather whether you will answer the call is the question that needs to be answered. The Archons are concerned about the decision that you are about to make. Possibly, it was an offer that was intended to purchase your silence. Possibly, it was another sophisticated lie to cover up past deceptions. Possibly, it was a bribe to someone who could have assisted you. Possibly, it was a trap that they hoped would ruin your credibility once and for all. No matter what it was an instantaneous failure. As soon as they attempted to manipulate someone, that individual saw right through it. They faked a paper that was riddled with glaring errors. The narrative that they produced contained gaps that were so large that a cosmic bulldozer could pass through them. The final move that they made was not only ineffective, but it was also pitiful. Moreover, the one whom they believed to be firmly in their corner, the individual whom they trusted with their secrets, laughed in their face, stood up, and walked out, and is now holding a dossier of evidence that had your name on it. That was their final opportunity, the last chance that the universe gave them to come clean, to make atonement, and to try to escape what was going to happen. Suddenly, the door that had the potential to lead to a more comfortable landing was slammed shut for good. The possibilities, the delays, and the escape routes are all gone. There are no more opportunities. The lack of hope that can be seen in their eyes conveys the entire narrative. They are aware that it is finished. They have the sensation that the walls are closing in on them. Their hands shake when they pick up the phone, and their voices are now cracking as they attempt to conceal the truth. When they look up at the ceiling, they are unable to fall asleep because they are pondering which day will be the day that everything comes crashing down. They are attempting to solve the issue by throwing money at it, but the universe is no longer willing to accept their currency. The individual they attempted to threaten was the incorrect person, but terror has now taken a different aspect. Their creative well had run dry, so they attempted to concoct one more intricate hoax, but they were unsuccessful. Now that they have nothing to support their scheme, all that is left is the empty shell that it was built on. They ignored every cosmic traffic signal, ran every spiritual red light, and drove through every divine stop sign. Despite the fact that the universe bestowed upon them several opportunities to rectify this situation. These opportunities included warning signs, near misses, and close calls that ought to have served as wake-up calls. At this point, the pursuit has come to an end, and they have made a dramatic contact with the wall of consequences. If your heart overflows with God's blessings, let that love shine. Click the super thank you button and give $20 or more to plant seeds of faith that will impact countless lives. Your generosity reflects His abundance. Be a vessel of His grace and watch His kingdom flourish through you. There is more to this than just a drama within the family. The web reaches further than you may realize. All of these individuals, including officials with fancy names, experts with great credentials, and people in positions of power who ought to have known better, found themselves deeply entangled in this disaster. Others were persuaded and fed half-truths that made them unsuspecting accomplices, while others participated voluntarily because they saw an opportunity to profit from your misfortune. They accepted transfers without questioning the source, signed documents without reading the small print, and turned a blind eye to documents that crossed their desk that should have triggered red flags rather than looking the other way. However, this is when things begin to change. One of them decided to switch sides. It's possible that someone who initially played along is now experiencing the full weight of what they've participated in. Perhaps it's guilt that keeps them awake at night. Perhaps it's fear of being discovered when everything falls apart. Or perhaps it's genuine sorrow for the role they played in preventing you from obtaining what was rightfully yours. They are coming out with proof, which includes emails, recordings, meeting notes, and other documentation that establishes beyond a reasonable doubt what was done to you and who was responsible for it. This is happening regardless of the rationale behind their actions. When the first domino is knocked over, the remainder of the dominoes will continue to fall. It was believed by the prominent individuals that their participation would be concealed behind closed doors and covered by confidentiality agreements. Instead, they are set to participate in a public spectacle of justice that will involve them as prominent players. Their reputation, which they have built up over the course of decades, will be destroyed in a matter of days. The attorney who assisted in the drafting of the fake documents is currently facing the possibility of disbarment. The accountant who cooked the books is currently in the process of having their license revoked, and the judge who made an unjust decision due to backroom discussions is currently being investigated for ethical violations. The professional networks that were once able to shield these individuals are now making frantic efforts to detach themselves from the situation. Overnight, partnerships are dissolving. Board posts are abruptly departing for personal reasons, and professional associations are holding emergency meetings to discuss the possibility of rescinding memberships. This insider who flipped is not simply sharing documents. They are also naming names, dates, times, and locations. They are naming exactly who said what and when. They are naming the precise moment your inheritance was redirected. They are naming the exact conversation where your legacy was divided up, among others. They are naming the specific meeting where they all agreed to keep the lie, thinking that their collective power would protect them for all of eternity. The issue at hand is not limited to a single individual. Rather, it pertains to a lineage of dishonesty that is at last coming to an end. Taking what was not theirs has been the foundation upon which they have built their fortune and reputation year after generation. Despite the fact that this is not the first time anything like this has happened, it is the case that is finally going to break the pattern. The family that believed they were untouchable is about to discover that karma does not take into account last names, but rather does take into account actions. Their history of manipulation was masterful. The backroom deals, the strategic marriages, the timely deaths with convenient beneficiaries, the children who were trained from birth to continue the tradition of deception, the family meetings where they decided whose inheritance to target next. All of this, together with every last detail, is about to become news all over the world. You're not here by chance. Feel the pull? Tap Join to unlock truth, purpose, and a tribe that gets it. This is more than a membership. It's your calling. The family that is depicted in photographs taken at a charity banquet is set to be brought to light for misappropriating cash that were intended for those who are in need. A compilation of the patriarch's decades of lying is soon to be made available to the general public. The patriarch is known for giving talks about integrity. It is about to be exposed in painful detail that the matriarch, who professes to be on the moral high ground, is the one who orchestrated the betrayals that occurred within the family. They are now removing their social media accounts, canceling public events, and wiping all proof of association. People who believed they were untouchable are now ducking and dodging. Never again will their family get together to celebrate the strength of their dynasty, which was once a source of pride for them. The holiday gatherings, in which they redistributed stolen blessings while pretending that they earned them, the birthday celebrations in which they gave gifts that were purchased with your resources, and the children who were raised in luxury on foundations that were stolen are now facing a future in which the family name is a liability rather than an asset. The public humiliation and widespread mistrust that they have left behind is not their legacy. It is not money and influence. They have already begun making moves, such as transferring funds to offshore accounts, researching countries that do not have extradition treaties, preparing fake passports, booking one-way flights, and making cryptic excuses about sudden health retreats or extended business opportunities abroad. Those who are the most guilty among them are already aware of what is going to happen. It is already too late. You should let them run away. You won't be able to find them anywhere on this world, since cosmic justice is everywhere. To conceal who they really are and what they've done, there is no island that is enough distant, no compound that is sufficiently safe, and no identity that is sufficiently false. All of the escape routes that they want to take have already been blocked off by troops that they are unable to see. They are under the impression that the private plane that would transport them to safety may experience mechanical problems prior to takeoff. There will be an immediate boost in security on the day of their endeavor because of the border that they planted across. As soon as they arrive, the person they are banking on to conceal them will, for some unexplainable reason, be unavailable. When it comes to time, divine timing is exquisitely precise. The trap won't go off until the very last possible second. Just as they believe they have made it to safety, the door will crash shut at the exact instant that they just thought they had made it. When it appeared that they would be able to escape, the handcuffs would be clicked in the most visible area possible, guaranteeing that the greatest number of people would be able to witness their downfall. They are on the verge of being caught in the act, and the universe is making sure that there will be an audience for the extravagant display. The precise time that they understand there is no way out has already been predetermined by forces that are beyond their comprehension. The moment of capture has already been written in the stars. It has been predetermined in the cosmic calendar that the precise moment when hope disappears from their eyes will appear. Their mobile devices have already been compromised, their email accounts have been accessed, and their whereabouts has been continuously monitored. The identities of their fake identities have already been revealed. Their allies have already been exposed. Their hiding places have already been found, and their emergency cache has already been highlighted. In every instance in which they believe they have discovered a way out, it will vanish right in front of their very eyes. The failure of every Plan B will be even more dramatic than the failure of Plan A. And every contact that they make will either refuse to assist them or will be working covertly with those who are bringing them to justice. They will arrive at the airport only to discover that their name is among those on an in-fly list. They will arrive at the border only to have their vehicle randomly selected for search. They will make arrangements for a boat only to have unexpected weather make it impossible for them to depart. They will attempt to access emergency funds only to discover that their accounts have been frozen off. They will be caught in the act of running by the very people they least expect, in the very area they thought was safest, in the exact moment they began to breathe a sigh of relief, while they are facing public disaster due to the fact that the universe is a fan of irony. That which has always been intended for you is about to be bestowed upon you. At this very now, a message is on its way to you. It could be a legal document that has official seals, or it could be a visit from someone in authority who has news that will change everything. Everything. Perhaps it is a call from a number that you are not familiar with, giving information that validates what your gut instinct has been telling you all along. Not only will this notification acknowledge the wrong that was done, but it will also set in motion the transfer of all that ought to have been yours from the very beginning. However, the cosmos does not deal in straightforward consequences. You are not only protected from elevation, but it is also amplified. More than just getting back what was taken from you, you are recovering more than that. You are getting the exact amount, or more exactly, what you would have earned if these resources had been in your possession from the beginning. The calculation of compound interest that the universe uses is absolutely perfect. In the meantime, the downward trend will be audible. News cycles, social media storms, community whispers that build into yells, and the contrast between your ascent and their decline will be impossible to miss. All of us are currently seeing the unfolding of a cosmic lesson. Others will try to position themselves as having been on your side the entire time, while yet others will want to negotiate some private deal in order to escape getting caught in the blast radius of what is coming. Some people will come out to you and claim that they have always known something was wrong. While you watch them scramble, keep in mind that you should keep your attention on the blessing, not the sight of their demise. The resources that are coming back to you come with cosmic upgrades, such as the property having increased in value, the investments having matured, the prospects having significantly expanded, and the networks having become more robust. What would have been valuable back then is today incomparably more precious. The doors that you would have simply been allowed to enter in the past are now being kicked down by other people in order to ensure that you access them. People who in the past would have accepted the opportunity to collaborate with you are now competing with one another to be linked with your increasing star. At this point in time, opportunities that would have been useful back then are amazing. This restoration is accompanied by divine timing, which means that the universe withheld it until precisely the appropriate moment, when you were ready to receive it, when the lesson would be most understandable to all spectators, and when the contrast between what they lose and what you get would be the most striking. In no uncertain terms, the things that they believed they were constructing with your resource forces are nothing in compared to the things that you will produce. The riches that they only kept, you will multiply. The influence that they desperately clung to, you will increase enormously. The legacy that they attempted to fabricate, you will establish in an authentic manner. Finally, the waiting is over. In addition to being known, the truth is official, documented, recorded, and witnessed by those who are present. If you know deep down in your heart that something is real, there will be no more delays, no more lies, and no more gaslighting. You are now benefiting from the system that for a considerable amount of time appeared to be biased against you. The very same methods that they used to prevent you from receiving your birthright are now the very tools that will ensure that it is protected for future generations.